Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fresh from the Cabinet. I'm your host at QZastic Man. With me, as always,
co-host at the Brantard.
That's right. In today's Fresh from the Cabinet, we're just gonna have a simple podcast. Keep it on the DL till we get our pinball machine in here.
Yeah. Oof.
And once we get the pinball machine in here, I think the plan is to do some like DIY type stuff where you guys can learn with us.
Yeah, even Riley.
Possibly see us get electrocuted or something,
Oh, I'm sure they'd love that.
Oh, I'm sure it'd make good ratings. Violence is ratings.
Violence is ratings.
Violence and sex sells. So today's Fresh from the Cabinet, we wanted to talk about a few simple things that are now coming up very, very, very slow on my iPad. There's been a resurgence of 8-bit arcade games. Are you aware of this?
I am not aware of this.
You're not aware of this?
I've been living under a rock.
You've been living under a rock. Well, fantastic. So let me tell you, there's this new movie coming out. Mm-hmm. It's called Pixels.
Oh yeah,
right. And creator of Pac-Man, Toru Iwatani. Yeah, Iwatani, which I cannot pronounce names. I apologize. He's in the movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Is he actually in the movie or someone portrays him?
I think it's him. It looks like him. He's pretty famous for the iPad not stopping. I mean, he's pretty famous for his work on Pac-Man.
Yeah.
He's been a big figurehead for Pac-Man for a long time. Just funny because I've known about him for a long time. Can't pronounce his name still all this time.
I still have to look at it.
Yeah, but Adam Sandler movie, so okay. I mean, it could be really good. It could be awful.
Yeah, it could be like, what is it? Adults.
Kevin James is in it, so that's probably not a good sign.
No, Kevin, come on. Mall Cop. I enjoyed Mall Cop. I thought that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
it's because that one movie with Seth Rogen that was completely horrible. What was it? Security something?
Oh, Paul Blart Mall Cop?
No, Paul Blart Mall Cop was funny.
Oh, was it funny?
That was actually funny. But the one with Seth Rogen...
Oh, he wasn't in that.
No, he was in another one that was a security thing. It came
out Observe and Report.
Is that Observe and Report?
Yeah.
Okay, that was horrible.
Yeah, like, basically, that movie was terrible. All kinds of, like, weird drug use and psychosis and stuff added in that movie. And let's not talk about that movie.
Yeah, moving on.
But yeah, talking about Pixels. There's also on it Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones. Everyone's favorite, Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah. Right? Oh yeah, Tyrion Lannister.
Tyrion? That's his name.
Yeah, he's Tyrion, and then
I'm terrible with names.
His father was Tywin
Lannister.
Tywin.
Yeah, see, that's a problem. There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm not very familiar with Michelle Monaghan.
Me either.
Yeah, not really at all. Josh Gad, I think, was the guy from one of the kids from that party movie, Project X or something.
Oh yeah,
is that him?
Yeah. With the curly hair.
Yeah,
and the glasses.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping the movie's good. It could be atrocious.
It could be, but
it could be just crap.
I don't know. It's got Peter Dinklage.
It can't be that bad.
It can't be that bad.
Peter Dinklage adds class to movies.
Yeah, he could phone in something and it still sounds okay.
Yeah, I mean, he added a level of class to that last X-Men movie.
Seriously.
So yeah, moving on. I was reading this article earlier. Mm-hmm. It was pretty interesting. And it was on arcadeheroes.com, I do believe. Mm-hmm. And it was talking about how the arcade, just everyone seems to think that the arcade died out because no one had an interest in it anymore. It's one small piece of a giant puzzle.
Right.
And they said that they probably could have overcome it, but like the problem with coin-operated games is it seems like older games that are like still hold a place in our hearts, even though they're older. They they're not worth 25 cents anymore.
Right.
So nobody wants to pay 25 cents to play them. And so it makes no sense for arcades to have a lot of these old machines. And several of the other reasons that they give, people are really into the ticket redemption concept, where you get tickets out of the machine and you go up and you get toys, yay!
Yeah.
Or you get toys for playing a game or whatever. And it seems like people are a lot more trusting of the mechanical versions of those games than they are to the video versions of those games. The high cost of electronics and stuff these days to just run one video game in an arcade cabinet, which, that didn't make very much sense to me, because it seemed like Neo Geo had the market on putting a whole bunch of games in one cabinet.
Oh yeah.
And we love those as kids, so I
yeah.
don't see why they don't do more stuff like that to kind of counteract.
I mean, I miss
that
that
end of
stuff.
things.
They did it perfectly, if you ask me.
Yeah, I've seen some new machines that are like Namco and Konami, and it's like every arcade game you've ever made in one cabinet.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why more companies don't do that.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Because there's actually probably a really good market out there. They just don't know.
Yeah. But on so it sounds like the arcade might make a comeback.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. There's a place in California I was reading about on their website. It has 40 machines. And it's not giant, but it serves people really well.
Yeah. And it does well.
Yeah,
Gets
it
a lot
seems
of
to do
attention.
pretty well. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, people really like it. It seems like modern arcades are paired with spirits a lot of the times. So it's paired with I think like a small bar and like a bowling alley. But it's a larger arcade than you would typically find in like a bowling alley type setting.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
That sounds really neat.
Yeah. So on less depressing notes about the arcade guy, new machines at the Amusement Expo in Vegas.
Oh, in Vegas?
Happened on March 28th. So we're a little behind, but there's some new information. There's a lot of really interesting cabinets coming back, which makes me think that the manufacturers might actually see a market in arcades again, which would be really awesome.
Well, yeah, that'd be extremely awesome. I mean, like, I bet they're mostly, from like Asia, like China and Japan. But I think some of the best arcades, like that one cop game where you shooting, dodging bullets. That was an awesome game, if you ask me.
Well, that's the thing. Cabinets don't really come a lot of the times from Japan anymore.
Really?
China has a very big arcade market right now, and they're producing a lot of really interesting cabinets, which we're going to talk about next week in more detail.
Okay.
But it seems like I'm not really sure what the state of cabinet making in Japan is. It seems like Sega has like a couple games coming out. And that's kind of about it. The weird thing is now it seems like the new trend is to take phone games and turn them into an arcade game.
Oh, really?
So one of the first ones on the list I'm about to talk about here, we're about to talk about, pardon me, is Flappy Bird by Doc Gears.
Doc Gears. Oh, Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
Man.
So it's the Flappy Bird game, and those machines that have the metal like rails sticking out right behind glass.
Yeah.
And they have toys hanging from them.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Flappy Bird, and I think depending on how far you get, you can win one of the little plushy toys that falls off.
That's neat.
And they have little Flappy Birds, and they have these, in the display model, it appeared to be like little other toys.
Oh, gotcha. Like little generic things from the game.
No, not even from the game. Like
Or
they had ones from the game up above, and then they had generic ones at the bottom.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
The other interesting one is it seems like it's a completely new property, which is kind of interesting. It seems like there's not very many of those in arcades anymore. It seems like they're all licensed or an old property or something. It's called Lost Land Adventure, and it's a light gun game that is kind of desert themed. It has like flying creatures and stuff. Seems to be kind of deserty themed.
Really?
And it's inside of a really nice large, the sit down machines that are encapsulated inside of a little like theater practically.
Oh, like Lucky and Wild.
Kind of, yeah, like a Lucky Wild, but with a canopy. More like the old Jurassic Park game with the light guns we used to play.
That was cool.
pardon me. It's a lot like that, and it seems really neat. It's got a great art style, and the whole cabinet itself looks gorgeous. It's got this neat like sandstone kind of thing going on the outside. Yeah,
that sounds
it looks
amazing.
great.
That sounds like a really neat cabinet.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the ones I saw that looked phenomenal, Allied Tank Attack.
Okay.
It's a third-person tank game. So you've got your tank on the screen, and the player sits on top of what looks like a tank quad-looking thing to control the tank.
Okay.
It looked really neat. I'm not sure if it's on rails or not, though. That was my one question: is it on rails? Do you control where
like
you
full
go?
control, like there was this one arcade thing. I'm pretty sure you played it too, like when we were kids, where it had like two joysticks on the side. You sit in this thing, and like you controlled like a tank, like a hover tank kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you could just go around this map, and you had full control of it. If it was something like that, that'd be really neat.
Yeah, it was kind of it looked quadish, and I'm not sure how it controlled necessarily.
Gotcha.
That brings us. There's a new Time Crisis up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it good?
I don't know. It looks nice.
Yeah.
It's very polished.
Because I always thought the Time Crisis games were really fun, especially when you had someone to play with.
Yeah,
like someone else.
And I think it still has the pedal that you step on to take, or how does that work? You let off of it to take cover and reload?
I think you let off to take cover, and then you hit the pedal to shoot. So
Yeah.
every time you let off, you're down, you're taking cover. Then hit the
Pedal and pop. Yeah, I think it still has that. It looks like a really nice cabinet. And yeah, but boy, the showstopper from all the cabinets I saw in the videos. Star Wars Battle Pod.
What?
So it appears to be some type of space combat. Well, not necessarily space, but flying vehicle combat, TIE fighters, X-wings, things of that nature.
That sounds awesome.
And it's the cabinet itself is a big sphere, so it's battle pod because it's this big pod-looking thing. I think.
Does it actually move around, like to give you the feeling of flight, of like?
It looked like it could, but I didn't see it moving, so I don't think so.
Oh well,
But boy,
that's okay if it doesn't.
Wow, that is.
If it
a really
looks
neat
like the
machine.
interior of the ship,
It's semi-generic because I feel like there's going to be more than just a TIE fighter or more than just a.
gotcha.
You know,
I mean, just
X-wing.
like if it feels like you're in like a ship, even if it's like generic, as long as it feels like you're in a cockpit.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if there's the X-wing actually, because it just appeared like there might be like an X-wing setting, but all I saw was a TIE fighter being used. But boy, it looked wow. It looked
That
good.
sounds awesome. That sounds really awesome.
So actually, original properties do still kind of exist in arcade cabinets,
Yeah.
but it seems like most of them are racing games.
Oh yeah.
Which racing games are cool. Showdown by Codemasters and Sega is a destruction derby style game, so it kind of changes. It changes how.
Yeah. It's instead of being just another racing game,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, which most car-themed games seem to be.
And it seemed to be realistic enough that it actually makes sense. Because that seems to be the biggest problem with Destruction Derby games. They don't have a realistic enough damage model for them to work properly.
Right.
And one of the games I think did that really well from a PC home console end of things is that new car game. And I know it has a new name. That was just its early access name. But yeah, boy, that game was great.
What was it called? The early access.
The early access name is New Car Game
Oh, new car game.
or
Oh,
Next Car Game,
Next.
something like that.
Oh yes, I remember.
It has a real name now, and I have
Yeah.
no idea what it is. But boy, that game
I
was.
think next car game.
I'll have to track that down, but that would be really good in a cabinet form.
That yeah.
So yeah, like anything you want to talk about? Like, what are some of your memories from going to an arcade? What's something that resonates with you the most?
When it comes to like the first things that comes to mind when you ask that is like, Ninja Turtles. what was it, Turtles in Time or something like that?
Yeah, Turtles in Time.
And then of course Metal Slug.
Oh, Metal Slug, yeah.
Metal Slug, yeah. So I mean, like, I remember when I lived in California, this one guy at this pizzeria I used to go to all the time. He just unlocked Metal Slug for all of us and just made it free, and like we just spent the whole day one day in there playing Metal Slug. It was the first time I beat it. Yeah.
Metal Slug is really good. I love Metal Slug. I think it's a lot more enjoyable from home console end of things because you can cheat, give yourself more lives and stuff. Actually, see the ending because that game is hard.
Oh God, it was
without
brutal.
having free play or
especially
something.
as a kid, and I was about 7 years old, and that game was brutal.
Yeah, so like one of the cabinets that sticks out most in my mind we were talking about earlier, Lucky and Wild.
Yeah.
That game, because you had the driver's position, had the gun, and then and this is at our Starcade in Meadowwood Mall in Reno, Nevada.
Yeah.
And
or you could be the passenger, which was my favorite.
which is gone now, sadly.
Yeah.
But the passenger had two guns,
Yeah,
and
I
the
like
driver had the wheel and the gun. So you could
You'd
drive
actually
while
sit
shoot.
like we're sitting right now.
Yeah. This is actually exactly the sitting thing. It was so much fun. It was phenomenal. And that's definitely, that's probably my number one. If I ever found one of those, wow.
Oh my God.
I'd get it in a heartbeat. What's a cabinet you want for yourself? That's
I
good.
never really thought about it. A cabinet I'd want for myself. I'll think about it, and I'll try to have a legit answer next show.
Next show,
But for
definitely.
now, I'll say I'm going to go with you on Lucky and Wild.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So,
One of the other ones I was thinking about was the that lightsaber game with Darth Vader.
yeah, that one was really cool.
That was really cool. It was
limited,
really
though,
hard. It was super limited
Because
too.
you were just really going like,
It's like a joint. Yeah, because it was attached to the bottom, so it was. Yeah. Pinball machine wise, I think my favorite pinball machine of all time is the Super Mario Brothers pinball machine from the 90s.
yeah.
That was a pinball machine.
A pinball machine from my childhood that would actually have a lot of meaning to me was the Addams Family pinball machine.
Yeah.
Because, man, back where I lived in California, I played it all the time. Sugar Daddy. He's huge.
Is that how I should sign out the show? I should try out my giant sugar daddy?
Yeah? You actually
Yeah.
gonna try it out?
I'm going to try it out.
Wow.
That's a sugar daddy.
That is a Sugar Daddy.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be hard to unwrap it. Nope. It unwrapped just fine. Wow. That
You
is...
could use that as a boat oar,
You could kill somebody with this.
or you could kill somebody.
Ah.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
It was the one I remember. He had a Sugar Daddy.
All right,
He
here-
went that way.
There you go.
Can you even...
You can't bite it at all.
Oh, Jesus. Well, yeah, it's like an inch thick. How is it, though?
Well, that's great.
Yeah?
That was fantastic. I could see myself dying a soothing, painful death of eating all of this while I'm sitting.
Oh, geez. Well,
Well, and then on that bombshell, that brings us to the end. We'd like to thank Jeremy Clarkson, the Giant Sugar Daddies,
Sugar Daddies.
and
Turtles in Time.
Arcades, Turtles in Time. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And we'll be back next week with another thrilling episode fresh from the cabinet. Thank you for watching.
Good night.